His immortality is a curse from the Dark Queen herself. Welcome to another DragonLance Saga episode. My name is Adam, and today we are going to talk about Berem Everman. I'd like to take a moment and thank the DL Saga members and invite you to consider becoming a member by visiting the link in the description below. You can even pick up DragonLance gaming materials using my affiliate links. I'm referencing the annotated Chronicles and the War of the Lance sourcebook for this information. If I leave anything out or misspeak, please leave a comment below. The tale of Berem Everman changes depending on if you just read the novels or if you play the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons modules. The backstory is the same, but at what points the heroes first meet him is certainly different. In the Chronicles, the innfellows first meet Berem Everman in Pax Tharkas, but in the modules, it isn't until they are within Thorbardin's prison cells in DL4 Dragons of Desolation. He then doesn't reappear until DL10 Dragons of Dreams, not entirely unlike the Chronicles. Even what he has to do with the conclusion of the modules differs from the Chronicles versions, as there are multiple endings that may involve him more or less. Even reaching the Foundation Stone isn't necessary to the conclusion of his tale. This is all to say that your experience with this intriguing character may differ from others, and his story may end quite differently. But let's not start at the end, let's start at the beginning. Berem's physical appearance changes rapidly depending on when you encounter him. He is perpetually a 5th level ranger, also known as a hunter. He is a middle-aged human man who appears to be mute and terrified of the dragon armies, which, let's be honest, makes him just as regular as every other citizen on Anslon. He is known to have long, dirty hair and at times a large beard which covers his chest. And this is where Berem becomes someone of significance. Embedded in his chest is a mysterious dull gray stone the size of a fist. It cannot be removed, period. And when Berem is wounded or dies, the gem begins to glow green before he regenerates back to full health and continues his attempt to escape and evade anyone who would ever want to capture him. Berem Everman is in truth nearly 400 years old, but he spent the last 50 years prior to the innfellows meeting him in Thorbardin under the imprisonment of the Dergar. While Berem may wish to be part of a group for safety or companionship, he is in fact hunted, and chooses anonymity and isolation whenever possible, trying to blend into the background of any society. This is because he is guarding two secrets. The first is that he is in fact immortal. He cannot be killed, though he has died many times. Imagine what that would do to a person. You've spent nearly 400 years running, hiding, being tortured, and dying, only to have it happen all over again if you are once more captured. How could a human mind process that torment? The effects seem to be apparent in his mannerisms and behavior. The second secret Berem carries is the green gemstone embedded in his breast. The gem itself seems to be less interesting than the story behind it, even in all its wondrous power, which, let's be honest, is more of a curse than anything. Berem Everman is the only mortal on Krynn that Takisus, the Queen of Darkness, fears, and it has everything to do with how the gem was embedded into his chest and what it portends. Takisus and her minions have been scouring Krynn for hundreds of years for this man since the end of Istar with the Cataclysm and Takisus' plan to enter and rule Krynn from the Abyss. This is the true genesis of the War of the Lance. Berem and his sister, some stories have her as a twin, were out hunting. They lived near Naraka and their parents succumbed to the illness of the day. These days, right after the Cataclysm, were some of the darkest Krynn has ever known, even more so than the Fifth Age, in my opinion. Famine and disease were rampant. Neighbor was turning against neighbor, and warlords raged across Anslon, fighting for scraps of land. As there was no healing, a common cold, let alone the diseases of the day, could kill you, so the burden of taking care of their family fell on their collective shoulders. Berem saw the effect that this hard labor had on his beloved sister Jasla, and when an opportunity to change the course of their lives was presented, Berem jumped at it. They came across a gem-encrusted stone while on another hunting expedition in Naraka. The promise of a better life, any life but the one they were suffering through was presented. So Baram began trying to pry a green gem out of this column. Jasla had a bad feeling about the gems, perhaps the aura of the evil they radiated, for, in truth, when the mountain crashed into Istar during the Cataclysm, Takisus removed the King Priest's temple to the abyss and transplanted the Keystone into the mountains of Naraka, the very gem-encrusted columns that Baram was actively trying to remove. This Keystone was growing into what will become the Temple of Darkness, the very source of Takisus' re-entry into Krynn from the Abyss. As Jasla fervently tried to stop Baram, Baram became angry and shoved her away from him. She tripped and fell backwards, striking her head on the stone, and died almost instantly. Now, whether the push from Baram was in reaction to his success in prying the stone out of the column or intentional is irrelevant, for his sister was now dead, and the gem he freed from the column fused itself into his chest. Jasla's spirit became trapped in the Keystone, taking the place of the gem her brother removed. Jasla's spirit would become the only thing that prevented Takisus from passing through the portal. Takisus fears that if Baram ever rejoins his sister, the gate may slam shut and she will be forever barred from the world. The only way to prevent this outcome and allow her re-entry is to find the Gemstone Man, destroy him, and reunite the gem into the column. This is why there are so many spies and agents of Takisus scouring Ansalon. Some actually believe the War of the Lance itself is just an elaborate way of finding the Everman. In one single act of desperation and hope, only those who have never known poverty would call it greed, Baram saw an opportunity to elevate the lives of his loved ones, help his parents and sister, and as the saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished. For now, Baram relives the accidental murder of his sister before his eyes. Each time he dies and is reborn, it is a brutal reminder of his failed attempt at rescuing his family, and instead condemning them. There is no man on Krynn more deserving of your sympathy, in my honest opinion, than Berem Everman. The true beauty of Dragonlance is the balance factor, for Baram does eventually find peace through death. Thanks to the aid of the companions in the Chronicles and the advanced Dungeons & Dragons modules, he is either reunited with Jasla at the Keystone itself, or the gem is destroyed. There's even an ending where Paladin in the avatar of Fizban poses as Baram to enter the gate, retrieving Jasla's soul, and turns evil, attacking the party. Yeah, if you've never played through the DL modules, you are missing some truly interesting story beats. The companions will discover Baram after having seen him absconded multiple times by Eben Shatterstone, Kitiara Uthmatar, and even drowned by his own hands, steering the Parishon into the eye of the Blood Sea of Istar. He would travel with the companions to Naraka, where he tries to escape through God's home, and Flint has a heart attack after chasing him down. There are so many impactful moments surrounding Berem Everman that it's a wonder why he isn't discussed more often. And that is all the time I have to talk about Berem Everman. What do you think of his character? Were he and his sister destined to their fate, or was it all a circumstantial accident? And finally, would the heroes have escaped Kitiara if Baram didn't sail into the Maelstrom? Leave a comment below. I'd like to take a moment and remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button. This all goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with DragonLance Saga, and until next time, remember, is that your nose or a disease?